Pound. Moorish American National Holy Week. The week January 8th through 15th is hereby declared into worldwide lawful recognition, the duly redeemed Moorish American peoples, as one nation under the great God. J. January 8th is Noble Drew Ali F's day of birth. On January 8, 1886, the last adept to a long line of holy prophets would be born and named E. Timothy Drew. By the age of 25 he would be nationally known as Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Holy Quran MHK2, 26-28, yet internationally known as El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Like all major prophets before him, Noble Drew Ali was not only prophesied, Rev. 10, since olden times, but he became the divine answer to hundreds millions of prayers. Timothy Drew was prophetically born amongst his Moorish American nationals whom were still laboring under the slave names of Negroes, blacks and colored peoples, Surah 16:36. All prophets are manifested on earth to perform the same universal duty, GTO save nations from the wrath of the great God. Every nation whom have suffered this divine anger were punished because they did not honor the creed and principles of their forefathers and strayed away from the straight way of universal truth. These acts alone left the transgressors susceptible to filling their hearts and minds with limited thoughts of sin and crimes. Noble Drew Ali, although born in the state of North Carolina on January 8, 1886, was sent to enforce the course of justice to the violators of this holy covenant. At the young age of 16, without parents, custodial escorts or government deployment, Timothy Drew found himself amidst the masterminds of Egypt. In the halls of Kemet he remained a student of the adepts for the next 10 years until completing his pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca. Drew Ali was fully ordained to do for the Moorish peoples everything that other prophets, from Adam to Mohammed, had performed for their especial nation. It has been a custom for every major prophet to either visit Kemet or in commission adept master, an angel, would bring the lessons of prophetdom to the ordained messenger, for example Prophet Mohammed. It is very important to note, no one, before or since the advent of Drew Ali, has ever brought to the Moorish people enslaved in the Americas everything it takes to save a nation. Still, it's solely contingent upon the redeemed people to take the maximums of these delivered truths in order to free themselves as one nation. And like other saviors, for example Yahushua, Jesus, Mohammed, Buddha and Confucius, Drew Ali was born within lawful slave camps of those he was ordained to save. There he would also find the most complacent, stiff-neck oppression, and greatest doubters would be those of his natural descendants. To this day, with the exception of a handful of his national Moorish Americans, only a handful has the faith in the great God of their forefathers thought the Moorish are worth saving. Nevertheless, because his people had fallen down to the greatest depths of wretchedness into a nationless status of property, straw men and de facto citizenry. Still, to this day January 8th marks the beginning of greatest holy week of observance of divine and national freedom in the history of the Western Hemisphere. Indeed, he is the last avatar, a perfected being who was born under the extended slave status and jurisdiction of the United States 14th Amendment. Because the great God of their forefathers showed his mercy and saving power upon the descendants of the ancient Moabites, in the personage of Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Americans welcomes all nations of the earth in our celebration of this, the first day of the Moorish American Holy Week. January 8th is the day of divine salvation for the Moorish Americans. January 15th is the day of national emancipation for all Moorish. Pound. J. January 15, 1865, U.S. Congress abolished slavery. Now we, the Moorish Americans of our own new era of time, hereby declare this great day the Moorish New Year. On January 15, 1865, the United States Congress ratified into law 2 of the 20 sections of the proposed 13th Amendment. It only took one of these 2 sections to abolish its 86 years of legalized slavery. Also effective on January 15, 1926, Noble Drew Ali wrote Act 6, a bylaw to the Divine Constitution of Moorish Americans. In this bylaw he declared the freedom of his people has brought in, this is a new era of time now, our sovereign citizens now take their place in the affairs of men. Now is the time to proclaim our nationality before the Moorish government in which we live, in order for us to link ourselves and be recognized by the nations of the earth, because we are not Negroes, black folks nor colored people. NBC. These two events apex many reasons the Moorish Americans makes January 15th the Moorish New Year. The Moorish use the 15th day as the day of their national salvation and the 8th as their divine salvation to showcase the year-round divine and national movement. Drew Ali taught the Moorish, from 1779 to 1865, as being, during the time of slavery. All descendants of the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa should be ever mindful of these lawful days. Because the United States Constitution, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and Morocco, the Amistad case, the Dru Scott decision plus the Emancipation Proclamation were all written during the time of constitutional slavery in the USA, as had been handed down from its motherland in the UK. There were no documents, decision or laws written, during this period, to authorize true freedom for the enslaved Moorish peoples. Contrary to assumed belief, the 13th Amendment did abolish the lawful system of slavery in the USA but did not free any of the West African Moorish nationals. True freedom must be aggressively sought through self-determination, restored and protected by the victims. This abolishment brought a lawful end to the USA institutions of slavery, the slave masters and all slave names of NBC. Among the denationalized Moorish called NBC, only the Moorish Americans are proclaiming their free national name before their Moorish national government. Their theocratic government is the only successive government in which the Moorish can truly live in freedom. January 15th is the celebration of the Moorish New Year in remembrances of their first year of freedom, which the Moorish glorify their reattachment to the human family of nations. The Moorish Americans are no longer the rejected cornerstone of the human family of nations. January 15th is the day of the great earthly salvation for the Moorish Americans. A few things the Moorish need to know. The Moorish Americans are a free, sovereign and independent nation of people. They are not Negroes, black people, colored folks nor any other form of chattel, property or denationalized slaves. We are now linking ourselves with all other human family of nations. When other nations see the Moorish, they see a people of principles. Namely their five-pointed open green star, which represents love, truth, peace, freedom and justice. The Moorish are direct manifest of their great God, love. G:\Backslash.B:\C:KUP.12.16.2013-A-N-KHN-ATON-pictures /pictures 1913 Masters /the Moorish American flag.png. The return of the Moorish is a new era and the return of peace on earth. Today every nation is seeking peace, but only through the Moorish freedom shall this peace be obtained. During the Moorish American Holy Day week we observe peace at all cost. No. The Moorish Americans do not commercialize their days of celebration. Neither does the Moorish welcome their New Year solace with gunfire, explosions and other weaponry designed to destroy life. Fasting, prayer and meditation upon knowledge of the God Self highlights the Moorish American Holy Day week of January 8th through 15th. The Moorish Americans as a newly redeemed nation are the true descendants and secessionists of the first God people to adorn human form on earth. All Moorish powers rest within the sovereignty of their government, one nation, bearing our one free national name within the peace of their society. No non-governmental organization can be a nation. The Moorish families need to learn to love instead of hate. The more they become love, the greater the force they will be. And to know, act and be the clean and pure nation which they are ordained to be. They need to learn to honor our flag, the Moorish flag. Our flag is not the flag of Morocco because it was used to enslave the Moors of West Africa. Slavery is not what the 5 points represents. Who among you will word the Moorish American national anthem and prepare the treaties for the coming allies to our nation state? Do not expect the courts and laws of those who have enslaved you to also free you as a people. No government on earth can be found in the courts of another government. The Moorish will only witness redemption while proclaiming their one free national name. Make your days longer by knowing true life is worthy of praise and thanksgiving. We now declare the Moorish American Holy Week because it is lawfully our own to claim. We, the Moorish Americans, honor all prophets, nations and religions of the earth. We ask all true citizens to help us in this gigantic missionary work of saving the earth. Peace and love divine to all. Dr. Granville Radford L., National Grand Sheikh Dr. Akhenaten Pert M. Tutankhamun Bey, Grand National Chairman Drive. Shahid Imani Al-Mahdi Z. Shabazz L., National Assistant Grand Sheikh www.moorishamericanop.org www.sevensealspublications.com